New Thought Society.
For which of my bad parts didst thou first fall in love with me? Act 2, Scene 1. A room in Polonius's house. Enter Polonius and Rinaldo into the scene. Polonius speaks. Give him this money and these notes, Rinaldo. Rinaldo replies, I will, my lord. Polonius continues, You shall do marvelous wisely, good Rinaldo, before you visit him, to make inquire of his behavior. Rinaldo responds, My lord, I did intend it. Polonius continues, Marry, well said, very well said. Look you, sir, inquire me first what danskers are in Paris, and how, and who, what means, and where they keep, what company, at what expense, and finding by this encompassment and drift of question, that they do know, my son, come you more nearer than your particular demands will touch it, take you, as 'twere, some distant knowledge of him, as thus I know his father and his friends, and impart him. Do you mark this, Rinaldo? Rinaldo replies, very well, my lord. Polonius continues, and impart him, but, you may say, not well, but if be he I mean, he's very wild, addicted, so and so, and there put on him what forgeries you please, marry, none so rank as may dishonor him, take heed of that, but, sir, such wanton, wild, and unusual slips as our companions noted and most known to youth and liberty. Rinaldo replies, as gaming, my lord. Polonius continues, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing, you may go so far. Rinaldo responds, my lord, that would dishonor him. Polonius continues, faith, no, as you may season it in the charge, you must not put another scandal on him, that he is open to incontinency. That's not my meaning, but breathe his faults so quaintly, that they may seem the taints of liberty, the flash and outbreak of a fiery mind, a savageness in unreclaimed blood, of general assault. Rinaldo responds, but, my good lord. Polonius interrupts and questions, wherefore should you do this? Rinaldo replies, my lord, I would know that. Polonius continues, marry, sir, here's my drift, and I believe it is a fetch of warrant, you laying these slight soles on my son, as 'twere a thing a little soiled I' the working. Mark you, your party in converse, him you would sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes the youth you breathe of guilty. Be assured he closes with you in this consequence, good sir, or so, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase or the addition of man and country. Rinaldo replies, very good, my lord. Polonius continues, and then, sir, does he this? He does. What was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave? Rinaldo replies, at, closes in the consequence, at, friend or so, and gentleman. Polonius continues, at, closes in the consequence, marry, he closes with you thus, I know the gentleman, I saw him yesterday, or t'other day, or then, with such or such, and, as you say, There was a gaming, there o'ertook in's rouse, there falling out at tennises, or perchance I saw him enter such a house of sale, videlicet, a brothel, or so forth. See you now, your bait of falsehood takes this carp of truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach, with windlasses and with assays of bias, by indirections find directions out. So, by my former lecture and advice, shall you, my son, you have me, have you not? Rinaldo replies, My lord, I have. Polonius continues, God be with ye, fare ye well. Rinaldo exclaims, Good, my lord. Polonius continues, Observe his inclination in yourself. Rinaldo replies, I shall, my lord. Polonius continues, And let him ply his music. Rinaldo responds, Well, my lord. Polonius exclaims, Farewell. Exit Rinaldo from the scene. Enter Ophelia. Polonius continues, How now, Ophelia, what's the matter? Ophelia responds, Oh, my lord, I have been so affrighted. Polonius questions, With what, in the name of God? Ophelia replies, My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered and downjived to his ankle, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport, as if he had been loosed out of hell. To speak of horrors, he comes before me. Polonius questions, Mad for thy love? Ophelia replies, My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it. Polonius questions, What said he? Ophelia continues, He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand, thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face, as he would draw it. Long stayed he so, at last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out o' doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me. Polonius replies, Come, go with me, I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself, and leads the will to desperate undertakings, as oft as any passion under heaven that does afflict our natures. I am sorry. What, have you given him any hard words of late? Ophelia replies, No, my good lord, but, as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me. Polonius replies, That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I feared he did but trifle and meant to wreck thee. But beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions, as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go we to the king. This must be known, which, being kept close, might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love. Come. Exeunt all from the scene. End of Scene 1. Act 2, Scene 2. A room in the castle. Flourish. Enter King, Queen, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and attendants into the scene. The king speaks. Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we much did long to see you. The need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so call it. Sith nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was, what it should be, more than his father's death, that thus hath put him so much from the understanding of himself. I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, that, being of so young days brought up with him, and sith so neighbored to his youth in Havior, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw him unto pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that opened lies within our remedy. The queen adds, Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am two men there are not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance. Rosencrantz responds, Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty. Guildenstern adds, But we both obey, and here give up ourselves, in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded. The king responds, Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern. The queen adds, Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz, and I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and bring these gentlemen where Hamlet is. Guildenstern replies, Heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him. The queen exclaims, Amen. Exeunt Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and some attendants from the scene. Enter Polonius. Polonius speaks. The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned. The king replies, Thou still hast been the father of good news. Polonius continues, Have I, my lord? I assure, my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king, and I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy so sure as it hath used to be, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy. The king responds, Oh, speak of that do I long to hear. Polonius continues, Give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be the fruit to that great feast. The king replies, Thyself do grace to them, and bring them in. Exit Polonius from the scene. The king continues, He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper. The queen responds, I doubt it is no other than the main, his father's death and our o'er hasty marriage. The king replies, Well, we shall sift him. Re-enter Polonius with Voltimand and Cornelius into the scene. The king continues, Welcome, my good friends. Say, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway? Voltimand responds, most fair return of greetings and desires upon our first, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be a preparation against the Polack, but better looked into, he truly found it was against your highness, whereat grieved that so his sickness, age, and impetus was falsely borne in hand, sends out arrests on Fortinbras, which he, in brief, obeys, receives rebuke from Norway, and in fine makes vow before his uncle nevermore to give the assay of arms against your majesty. Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 3,000 crowns in annual fee, and his commission to employ those soldiers, so levied as before against the Polack, with an entreaty herein further shown. Voltiman gives a paper to the king. Voltiman continues, that it might please you to give quiet pass through your dominions for this enterprise, on such regards of safety and allowance as therein are set down. The king responds, it likes us well, and at our more considered time will read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest. At night we'll feast together. Most welcome home. Exeunt Voltimand and Cornelius from the scene. Polonius speaks. This business is well ended, my liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I it, for, to define true madness, what is't but to be nothing else but mad? But let that go. The queen responds, more matter with less art. Polonius continues, madam, I swear I use no art at all, that he is mad. 'Tis true, 'tis true, 'tis pity, and pity, 'tis true. A foolish figure, but farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad, let us grant him then, and now remains that we find out the cause of this effect, or rather say, the cause of this defect. For this effect defective comes by cause. Thus it remains, and the remainder thus perpend. I have a daughter, well she is mine, who in her duty and obedience, mark, hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. Polonius reads, quote, to the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. End quote. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear thus. Polonius reads, quote, in her excellent white bosom, these, end quote. The queen questions, came this from Hamlet to her? Polonius continues, good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Polonius reads, quote, doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groins, but that I love thee best, oh most best, believe it, adieu. Thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. End quote. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means and place, all given to mine ear. The king questions, but how hath she received his love? Polonius questions, what do you think of me? The king responds, as of a man faithful and honorable. Polonius continues, I would fain prove so, but what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing? As I perceived it, I must tell you that. Before my daughter told me, what might you, or my dear majesty, your queen, here think, if I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight, what might you think? No, I went round to work, and my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Quote, Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star, this must not be. End quote. And then I prescripts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, thence into a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raves, and all we mourn for. King questions, do you think this? The queen replies, it may be very like. Polonius continues, hath there been such a time, I'ld fain know that I have positively said, 'tis so, when it proved otherwise. King replies, not that I know. Polonius continues, pointing to his head and shoulder, take this from this, if this be otherwise, if circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center. King questions, how may we try it further? Polonius replies, you know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together, here in the lobby. The queen responds, so he does, indeed. Polonius continues, at such a time I'll lose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind and harass then. Mark the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for estate, but keep a farm and carters. King responds, we will try it. Queen adds, but look where sadly the poor wretch comes reading. Polonius continues, away, I do beseech you, both away, I'll board him presently. Exeunt king, queen, and attendants from the scene. Enter Hamlet, reading. Polonius continues, oh, give me leave, how does my good lord Hamlet? Hamlet replies, well, God a mercy. Polonius questions, do you know me, my lord? Hamlet replies, excellent well, you are a fishmonger. Polonius responds, not I, my lord. Hamlet continues, then I would you were so honest a man. Polonius exclaims, honest, my lord. Hamlet continues, aye, sir, to be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000. Polonius responds, that's very true, my lord. Hamlet continues, for if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a god-kissing carrion, have you a daughter? Polonius replies, I have, my lord. Hamlet continues, let her not walk ere the sun, conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to't. Polonius replies aside, "How say you by that, still harping on my daughter? Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone, and truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love. Very near this, I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?" Hamlet replies, "Words, words, words." Polonius questions, "What is the matter, my lord?" Hamlet questions, "Between who?" Polonius responds, "I mean the matter that you read, my lord." Hamlet continues, "Slanders, sir, for the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams. All which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down, for yourself, sir, shall grow as old as I am, if like a crab you could go backwards." Polonius responds aside, "Though this be madness, yet there is method in't. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?" Hamlet replies, "Into my grave." Polonius continues aside, "Indeed, that's out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are! A happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My honorable lord, I will most humbly take my leave of you." Hamlet responds, "You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part withal, except my life, except my life, except my life." Polonius replies, "Fare you well, my lord." Hamlet exclaims, "These tedious old fools." Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern into the scene. Polonius speaks, "You go to seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is." Rosencrantz responds, "God save you, sir." Exit Polonius from the scene. Guildenstern exclaims, "My honored lord." Rosencrantz exclaims, "My most dear lord." Hamlet replies, "My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Ah, Rosencrantz, good lads, how do you both?" Rosencrantz responds, "As the indifferent children of the earth." Guildenstern adds, "Happy, in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap we are not the very bottom." Hamlet questions, "Nor the soles of her shoes?" Rosencrantz replies, "Neither, my lord." Hamlet questions, "Then you live about her waist, or in the middle of her favors?" Guildenstern responds, "Faith, her privates we." Hamlet questions, "In the secret parts of fortune?" "Oh, most true, she is a trumpet. What's the news?" Rosencrantz replies, "None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest." Hamlet continues, "Then this doomsday near, but your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune, that she sends you to prison hither?" Guildenstern exclaims, "Prison, my lord!" Hamlet responds, "Denmark's a prison." Rosencrantz adds, "Then is the world one?" Hamlet continues, "A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one, oh, the worst." Rosencrantz responds, We think not so, my lord. Hamlet continues. Why, then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me it is a prison. Rosencrantz responds, Why, then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind. Hamlet continues, O God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams. Guildenstern speaks, which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream. Hamlet responds, a dream itself is but a shadow. Rosencrantz adds, Truly, and I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow. Hamlet replies, Then are our beggars' bodies, and our monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggars' shadows. Shall we to the court? For, by my fay, I cannot reason. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern reply, We'll wait upon you. Hamlet continues, No such matter, I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, for, to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what makes you at Elsinore? Rosencrantz responds, To visit you, my lord, no other occasion. Hamlet continues, Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you, and sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for, is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak. Guildenstern questions, What should we say, my lord? Hamlet replies, Why, anything but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks, which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you. Rosencrantz questions, To what end, my lord? Hamlet continues, That you must teach me, but let me conjure you, by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear a better proposer could charge you withal, be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no. Rosencrantz questions aside to Guildenstern, What say you? Hamlet speaks aside, Nay then, I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off. Guildenstern responds, My lord, we were sent for. Hamlet continues, I will tell you why, so shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, foregone all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition, that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory, this most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. Why, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, no, nor woman neither. though by your smiling you seem to say so. Rosencrantz replies, My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts. Hamlet questions, Why did you laugh then, when I said, Man delights not me? Rosencrantz replies, To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you? We coted them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service. Hamlet replies, He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute of me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target. The lover shall not sigh gratis. The humorous man shall end his part in peace. The clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled o'er the seer, and the lady shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall halt for't. What players are they? Rosencrantz replies, Even those you were wont to take such delight in, the tragedians of the city. Hamlet responds, How chances it they travel? Their residence, both in reputation and profit, was better both ways. Rosencrantz continues, I think their inhibition comes by the means of the late innovation. Hamlet questions, Do they hold the same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they so followed? Rosencrantz responds, No, indeed, are they not. Hamlet questions, How comes it? Do they grow rusty? Rosencrantz responds, Nay, their endeavor keeps in the wonted pace, but there is, sir, an eyrie of children, little asses, that cry out on the top of question, and are most tyrannically clapped for't. These are now the fashion, and so berattle the common stages, so they call them, that many wearing rapiers are afraid of goose quills, and dare scarce come thither. Hamlet questions, What, are they children? Who maintains them? How are they escoted? Will they pursue the quality no longer than they can sing? Will they not say afterwards, if they should grow themselves to common players, as it is most like, if their means are no better, their riders do them wrong, to make them exclaim against their own succession? Rosencrantz continues, Faith, there has been much to do on both sides, and the nation holds it no sin to tarry them to controversy. There was for a while no money bid for argument unless the poet and the player went to cuffs in the question. Hamlet questions, Is't possible? Guildenstern responds, Oh, there has been much throwing about of brains. Hamlet questions, Do the boys carry it away? Rosencrantz replies, Ay, that they do, my lord, Hercules and his load too. Hamlet continues, It is not very strange, for my uncle is king of Denmark, and those that would make mows at him while my father lived, give 20, 40, 50, 100 ducats apiece for his picture in little. 'Sblood, there is something in this more than natural, if philosophy could find it out. A flourish of trumpets happens within. Guildenstern speaks. There are the players. Hamlet replies, Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb, lest my extent to the players, which, I tell you, must show fairly outwards, should more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome, but my uncle father and aunt, mother are deceived. Guildenstern questions, In what, my dear lord? Hamlet continues, I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. Enter Polonius into the scene. Polonius exclaims, Well be with you, gentlemen. Hamlet replies, Hark you, Guildenstern, and you too, at each ear a hearer. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clouds. Rosencrantz adds, Happily he's the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child. Hamlet continues, I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it, you say right, sir. Oh, Monday morning, 'twas so indeed. Polonius speaks, My lord, I have news to tell you. Hamlet replies, My lord, I have news to tell you. When Roscius was an actor in Rome. Polonius replies, The actors are come hither, my lord. Hamlet exclaims, Buzz, buzz. Polonius responds, Upon my honor. Hamlet replies, Then came each actor on his ass. Polonius continues, The best actors in the world, either from tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral comedy, historical pastoral, tragical pastoral, tragical historical, tragical comical, historical pastoral, scene indivisible, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, nor Plautus too light, for the law of writ and the liberty, these are the only men. Hamlet responds, O Jephthah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hadst thou? Polonius questions, What a treasure had he, my lord? Hamlet replies, Why, one fair daughter, and no more, the which he loved passing well. Polonius responds aside, Still on my daughter. Hamlet continues, Am I not the right, old Jephthah? Polonius responds, If you call me Jephthah, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well. Hamlet replies, Nay, that follows not. Polonius questions, What follows then, my lord? Hamlet responds, Why, as by lot, God wot, and then, you know, it came to pass, as most like it was. The first row of the pious chanson will show you more, for look where my abridgment comes. Enter 4 or 5 players into the scene. Hamlet continues, You are welcome, masters, welcome all. I am glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. Oh, my old friend, why thy face is valanced since I saw thee last? Comest thou to beard me in Denmark? What, my young lady and mistress? By Our Lady, your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw you last, by the altitude of a copine. Pray, God, your voice, like a piece of uncurrent gold, be not cracked within the ring. Masters, you are all welcome. Wheel, e'en, toot, like French falconers, fly at anything we see. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech. First player questions, What speech, my good lord? Hamlet replies, I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or, if it was, not above once, for the play, I remember, pleased not the million. 'Twas caviare to the general, but it was, as I received it, and others whose judgments in such matters cried in the top of mine, an excellent play, well digested in the scenes, set down with as much modesty as cunning. I remember one said there were no salads in the lines to make the matter savory, nor no matter in the phrase that might indict the author of affection, but called it an honest method, as wholesome as sweet, and by very much more handsome than fine. One speech in it I chiefly loved, 'twas Aeneas' tale to Dido, and thereabout of it especially, where he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. Quote, the rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast, it is not so. It begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the night resemble when he lay couched in the ominous horse, hath now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal. Head to foot now is he total gules, horridly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and empasted with the parching streets that lend a tyrannous and a damned light to their lord's murder, roasted in wrath and fire, and thus oversized with colgulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam seeks. End quote. So proceed you. Polonius speaks. For God, my lord, well spoken, with good accent and good discretion. The first player replies, quote, anon he finds him striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command, unequal matched. Pyrrhus at Priam drives, in rage strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear, for lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of reverend Priam, seemed i' the air to stick. So, as a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But as we often see, against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the rack stands still, the bold winds speechless, and the orb below as hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region, so after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work. And never did the Cyclops' hammers fail on Mars' armor, forged for proof etern, with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, out, thou strumpet, fortune! All you gods, in general synod, take away her power, break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heaven, as low as to the fiends. End quote. Polonius speaks. This is too long. Hamlet replies, it shall to the barbers, with your beard, prithee, say on. He's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on, come to Hecuba. First player continues, quote, but who, oh, who had seen the mobbled queen? End quote. Hamlet questions, the mobbled queen? Polonius replies, that's good. Mobbled queen is good. First player continues, quote, run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with Bison room, a clout upon that head, where late the diadem stood, and for a robe about her lank and all o'er teemed loins, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up. Who this had seen, with tongue in venom steeped, 'gainst fortune's state would treason have pronounced. But if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods. End quote. Polonius speaks. Look whether he has not turned his color, and has tears in's eyes. Prithee, no more. Hamlet replies, 'Tis well, I'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. Good my lord, will you see the players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report while you live. Polonius replies, My lord, I will use them according to their desert. Hamlet responds, God's babykins, man much better, use every man after his desert. And who shall scape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in. Polonius replies, Come, sirs. Hamlet continues, Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow. Exit Polonius with all the players but the first. Hamlet continues, Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play the murder of Gonzago? First player replies, Aye, my lord. Hamlet continues, Will hat tomorrow night you could, for a need, study a speech of some dozen or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in't. Could you not? First player replies, Aye, my lord. Hamlet continues, Very well, follow that lord, and look you mock him not. Exit first player from the scene. Hamlet continues, My good friends, I'll leave you tonight. You are welcome to Elsinore. Rosencrantz exclaims, Good, my lord. Hamlet replies, Aye, so, God be wi' ye. Exeunt Rosencrantz and Guildenstern from the scene. Hamlet continues, Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I! Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit, that from her working all his visage wand, tears in his eyes, distraction in's aspect, a broken voice, and his whole functions suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing, for Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do, had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears, and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty, and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy melted rascal, peak like John a dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing, no, not for a king, upon whose property in most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pate across, plucks off my head and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, give me the lie i' the throat, as deep as to the lungs? Who does me this? Ha! Swoons! I should take it for it cannot be, but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. Or ere this I should have fatted all the region kites with this slave's offal, bloody body villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! Why, what an ass am I! This is most brave, that I, the son of a dear father's murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words, and fall a-cursing like a very drab, a scullion. Fie upont foe, about my brain, hum, I have heard that guilty creatures, sitting at a play, have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul, that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tint him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. Exit Hamlet from the scene. End of Scene 2 and end of Act 2.